Hi guys, Dorota Palicka, International Nail Artist and Educator here, and today we are going to do a bit of blending set with some rose gold as well. So I've got some 2 natural nails and I want to show you how to sculpt the set. So I'm just cleaning them with the blue scrub before I start filing to remove any oils or dirt which might be on it, and then file the free edge and scratch the surface of the natural nail plate. Okay, so just remove the shine. And then do the same on the other hand. I have after this step is done, just remove any dust which might be on there and dehydrate it again. Like, we want the nails to be nice and squeaky. And then we are going to apply the nail forms. So I'm using those sculpting forms. And actually it's handy because I keep this side for later on when we place the crystals. I can put a drop of the base gel in there and just keep the crystals. So I put this part of the sticker on the back of the form, and then I'm pre-pinching the form in between my fingers so it has a nice shape. Then grab the first finger, hide the client view, because if they help us too much, sometimes it becomes a bit difficult. Once I've got the form straight, I'm going to start closing it. So I'm closing at this part. So start closing the form nice, and that's the first form on. Okay, do exactly the same on this one, but on this nail I might need to cut it a little bit, the form. And we'll see how we get on. So pre-pinch it, and then yes, I'm going to cut a tiny bit where the hyponicum is. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit in there, just so the form gets in nicer. Especially that those nails got the tendency to really strongly growing down. So I want to put the form as straight as possible, like, and as high as possible, because otherwise next appointment they are really going to grow down strongly. Okay, and then the next step is to apply an extra nail prep on the nail plate. Let it dry. So quite often I put the fan on just so it speeds up the drying time, and then universal air bond. So universal air bond, wait for it to dry again, and then we can start sculpting those nails. So I'm using the light rose. It's quite nice color. Pick up a scoop of the product and apply nice and thin layer. Nice and thin layer. Then pick up another scoop, and on the places where the nail is joining, you have to apply a little bit more. Okay, you don't want those nails to crack. And then into the coffin shape. Don't want to make them overly too long. So once I'm happy with it, we are going to cure it. Put it inside. Watch to don't bang the form and keep playing with your hands in and out so it doesn't feel hot, okay? Then apply nice and thin layer. Pick up another scoop of the product and build up this nail. I always kind of build up a little bit more than I needed, just because this way I make sure I don't miss any product, and it's easy for me to kind of file it even if I've got a little bit too much. Change. So this nail is cured, and I can just squeeze it a little bit. Do not pinch overly too strong, like do not apply the pinching clamp too high. So I want to pinch it just more at the free edge. And sometimes if you've got clients which got very weak nails, so all you could do is just like kind of squeeze it and release it, and that will be quite enough as well. Okay, we are going to cure it, so change, then check if this one is cure enough, and then apply pinching clamp here as well. Okay, so start doing very carefully, and then once you're sure you are not going to cause the damage, you can pinch it. Change. Remove the pinching clamp, and the nail is nice and slim, and now we can build up the structure. So when I'm building the structure, I like to keep the client's fingers down the way so the product works with me. Okay, so I'm picking up the product on the one side of my brush, nice and thin layer, nice and thin layer. Okay, so this way I'm going to have enough product around the cuticle area, and then pick up a large scoop of the product and start building the apex. So release this ball from your brush, more in the middle, and then keep working one side, other side, one side, other side, one side, other side. And then once you're happy, change. So nice and thin, like make sure you've got product everywhere. Without touching cuticles. Pick up the scoop of the product, release it, and then start dragging it down. Change. Okay, this one is ready. I also like sometimes pinch it one more time, and if I do that, then I would apply the pinching clamp like kind of from underneath, so we only squeeze the free edge and we don't squeeze the top part anymore. Change. Okay, same with this one, so I'm just going to apply those pinching clamp in there. Change. And now we can shape this nail. So I'm just removing the pinching clamp, remove the inhibition layer from the nail, and we can start shaping it. V-shape, so one side, other side, and I'm using the 100 by 180 grid. Then file the free edge. Again, go back to the sides. Check the length. Blend everything around the cuticle area. And then just buff it. check the shape of the nail. I still want to buff it a little bit more around the cuticle area. I wanted it to be nice and blended. And then that's this nail already. So do exactly the same on this one. Remove the pinching clamp, inhibition layer, and then start filing. So one side and the other side. Keep swapping the sides, because if you file too long in a one side, you might easily overfile it, and you really don't want that. And then check it, file the free edge, blend around the cuticle area, and then smooth it the entire nail. Okay, it's already start looking nice. I still got a tiny bit of the bulk on this area here, and I really need to file that away. Then check the client view as well, like making sure the nail is nice and straight. It's easier if you're sitting straight as well, because then the nails are not wonky. So remember that, like I used to cross over my legs, and that was definitely affecting the shape, or like sitting on the side, then the shape will be affected as well. And then just start buffing it. Remove the dust to inspect the nails. Okay, check them both, tidy up the cuticle area, and then we can move on into the design part. So I'm just going to clean this area a little bit. Trim it, but just those parts which you really need it. Like I'm not the fan of overdoing cuticle, because then it is causing an overgrowth of the tissue as well, so that's pretty important. And then just clean the nails and we can start painting them. So for cleaning, I'm also using a blue scrub, because we have been touching the nails and I really don't want them to be contaminated with my oil skins or any dust. And now paint them. Okay, so that's them all nice and clean. And on the pinky we are going to use the High Shine No Wipe Top Gel to do the sugar design. On this nail we are going to apply 158 color, and it's actually awesome color. I really think it's like so beautiful, absolutely amazing for this time of the year, it's really, got something there. It's really nice. It's a kind of like a dusky pink. And I really love this color, like it's so nice inside. And then I'm going to put a top coat on this nail as well, so we can apply nice and beautiful chrome. So apply the top coat, and I think this looks amazing, like in combination with those 158 color. When you apply the top coat, like make sure you don't have any dust particles, because chrome is really showing any kind of imperfections. Change. Okay, so I can apply the second coat over it. And then top coat in here, because we are going to sprinkle it with the sugar. So like make sure you apply decent amount of the top coat. You don't want to have too little, because if you've got too little, it is not going to take the glitter well. And that's the sugar which we are going to apply. So I'm just applying it over and then tap it to remove the excess. And look guys how nice and pretty it is. Change. Okay, this finger is ready for the chrome application. So we are going to use the rose gold. I'm just dabbing in and start rubbing the chrome. So first of all you apply it and then you start rubbing in. Okay, once you're sure that you've got the chrome everywhere, you can start removing the excess of the pigment, because if you don't have an excess of the pigment, it's going to be looking nice and mirrory. And start rubbing it in, like really nicely rub in. I find it actually, the longer I rub, the nicer results I get. So I'm making sure everything is nice and clean. Okay, nice shiny look. Remove the excess of the dust and then apply the top coat. To protect the edges of the chrome from coming off, you can do two things. So one thing would be to apply the universal air bond like at the edges, and the second thing is scratch with the file. I quite like to scratch it with the file, but both techniques are good, because basically what they do, they remove loose pigment, because if you will have some loose pigment in there, it will come off. So now apply the top coat. And again, decent amount of the top coat, like you want to make sure the chrome is going to last a nice time. Change. Now it's a crystals time on this nail, so we are going to use this back of the form to apply the base gel over there. So I'm just putting a drop of the base gel in there and then start applying crystals here. So okay, so crystals time. We've got all the phone calls going on today. All the phones. And just at the top on the cuticle, I want to put a larger crystal. So a crystal there. And then a wee triangle and a rose gold. So I'm just taking this one in there. Like make sure it's nice and straight. I've got a wee dent in here from the product, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to fix it as well. Now when you're putting your crystals, make sure your fingers are nice and straight, okay? So change. So this hand is completely ready, and I have to just clean it and apply cuticle oil, and then I can take a beautiful thumbnail picture. So cleaning the chrome is sometimes time consuming, so like make sure you really clean that all well, all the hands. I quite like to even wash the hands after they have been done before I start taking the pictures, just to really get rid of any excess dust. But like that's how what a crystal combinations we are going to do it, and I will show you that. So change the hands. No, this one is done. Getting confused. Yeah, so yeah, this one is done. So I've got a drop of the base in there, and now nice and straight, so you can really, and also I show you what I'm doing with the sugar as well, so it looks nice. Now here a crystal, crystal, and a crystal, and just we triangle. So a large crystal in there, medium one inside the rounded shape. Thank you. So the rounded shape in here, medium crystal in there, and then we've got another medium crystal there. I quite like to build up those kind of crystal combinations, and once you start applying the crystals, you know if it's right or not. Okay, and we need the triangle here. So apply a drop, maybe not, just flash cure it so we don't get it damaged. So inside 2 seconds. That gives me time to start clearing as well before my next client. Okay, I take it back. And it's good if you do flash cure it like every so often, because otherwise the crystals might just run. So basically what I'm doing now is I have also applied an extra coat of the base in this wee missing place because it didn't nicely reflect the light. And now that's it sorted. Put those wee triangle there and a small crystal at the end. Don't put the last crystals too close to the free edge so it doesn't pink like off. Then inside, keep it nice and straight. Get rid of those crystals, and then the last parts with the caviar beads. And I love, guys, caviar beads. Like, I know they are so fiddly, they are so time consuming, but once and sometimes I like to spoil my clients. I love the caviar beads on my nails like so much as well. So I'm going to apply 4 large in here. Rose gold. Okay, so I've got 4 large, 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze, so inside. And then after we have complete that, we can play with the small ones. So that's the small ones. And we actually got them on the website in all different colors, like gold, silver, and rose gold. So now I'm just going to paint one side here, just a tiny wee line with the base. I actually even done it too much. Clean my brush. You don't want to have too much base on your brush. If you do have too much base on your brush, the caviar beads are not going to detached. Is it that's the correct word I'm searching for? They are not going to be released from the brush. So make sure you don't have too much. And also you don't want to contaminate your box with the caviar beads into too much base, because then they get stuck together. And that's not nice. Okay. Now place them nice. Hold the breath, and then one more I'm missing here. So on a piece of form, like the back of the form, the paper which I didn't bin, I've got some single caviar beads, like, so I don't dip in my brush into the entire pocket box of them. Okay, move them nice, and then once happy, flash cure it. So flash cure is just a couple seconds to freeze the product so it doesn't run. And the caviar beads, they do really stay on, like even on my nails, like they have been old now. I take it back. And they do stay on nice when they attached with the base gel. And I think it's giving a really nice dimension to the designs, like they look much more interesting. If you've got too much of them, just take them off. Okay, almost there. I actually had those kind of crystal combination on every single nail of mine with the caviar beads. They took ages. Okay, perfect inside. So freeze it. Now, guys, you also quite often asking me about the pricing. I promise I will do a separate video, like, and maybe do some examples of the nails, like how much they did cost and why. So we've got a different prices depending on the service. I take it. If the nails are on tips, they are obviously cheaper. If they are sculpted, they are more expensive. If they are also like pinched, we charge for that. Then some crystals, we usually do £1 for a large crystals, and then 25 pence for a small ones. For the original Swarovski, like, and fake crystals are slightly cheaper, don't charge as much for that. Then for one stroke, like level 2 flower, which will be quite complicated, I would charge £2.50 per flower, like per nail, with the design. And same for like a baby boomer or a French manicure, we charge £5 depending on the length of the nail. So what I will do is I will break down the entire pricing for you in a separate video, because I get quite a lot of comments on that. Now cook it in. Yeah, I'm not going to wait. Oh no, I need to show you guys sugar as well, so I take it back. I only freeze the top coat, so I have to be very careful to don't make the dust in there. But what I'm doing after I have finished the sugaring, I scratch the free edge, and then I clean it and remove the excess of the glitter to make sure everything stays on nice and good. So this hand cooks and then now I can just take a nice thumbnail picture of this set of the nails after application of the cuticle oil. And I hope you have guys really enjoyed watching it, and you have learned something as well from this tutorial. I don't want to float them. So what I'm usually doing is, like, I apply cuticle oil, let it sink in a little bit, then I would rub it in. This is actually a good tip for you guys as well. And then after I have done that, I'm cleaning off any cuticle excess from the nails and also from the skin. You don't want to have too much, like you can see it doesn't look nice when the light really reflect the cuticle oil. So make sure you do not have excess of it, especially on the nails. So does the crystals. I like to give them a nice bath as well before I take the picture. But yeah, sending you lots of glittery hugs, and bye for now.